way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Go, Patrick. Go, Patrick. Ha. Hey. Happy Wednesday. Good afternoon. Welcome back. The Patrick I speak of would be my friend Patrick Byrne, founder and CEO of Overstock.com. Morgan Stanley announced that they have bought just over 10% of Overstock, and you have no idea what a big deal that is. When you own more than 10% of a public company, it has to be filed with the SEC. There's a lot of paperwork and whatnot, but we'll talk about that in a minute, all right? I just wanted to say go Patrick, because he's a really great guy. Now, if you're returning, welcome back. If you're here for the first time, oh boy, buckle your seatbelt. It's going to be quite a ride. It is Wednesday. It is hump day. It is Fed day, Fed hump day. And, you know, already the central banks are getting together and saying, you know what, this cryptocurrency thing getting a little out of hand. We better start, you know, the only way we can knock this out of the park. The Federal Reserve is investigating, as you know, all central banks. They want to come out with their own official. The angry villagers with the torches and pitchforks say, oh no, no. We're decentralized now. Federal Reserve been stealing money from Americans since its inception. The thought that the day that stops could be nearing makes my heart swell, even more than it normally does on hump day. So, how you doing? I hope you're having a great Wednesday wherever you are. Let's take a quick look at the numbers around the world, put things in perspective as we head into this Fed announcement, 2 p.m. this afternoon. The Fed has been promising us that they were going to raise rates for months at the last meeting of the year. So it's already baked into the cake. Now, they could do one of two things. They could not raise and surprise the market, or they could raise more than a quarter point. I'm not saying they'll do either one. I'm saying that's the only thing that will surprise the street at the moment. Okay? All right, let's go to the Dow. This is the cash markets. Start in the U.S. The Dow's up 132 points, 0.5%. NASDAQ up 17 points. S&P 500 up 3.25 points. And the Russell 2000 cranking up 15 points today, a little over 1%. In the commodity basket, we had crude oil numbers today. Crude is down 46 cents, trading 56.68 last. Gold, on the other hand, as we head into the Fed and this potential rate increase, is up $6.40, which is 0.5%, trading 1248.10 last. In the Asian markets, mixed action. The Nikkei closed down 0.5%. That's 108 points. Shanghai closed up over 0.5%. That's 23 points. And the Hang Seng knocked it out of the park, up 1.5%. That's 428 points. And in Europe, everybody's got the frowny face. The FTSE was down 4 points. DAX was down 58, and the CAC was down 28, which is exactly 0.5%. Europe red, Asia mixed. And it's the green, green grass of home. Except for crude. It'll bounce as soon as it hits the zone, I believe. Okay, just real quick, let me run this by you, and then I'm gonna, if you bank with Bank of America and you are buying cryptocurrency from your Bank of America account, be ye careful. I'll share the news in a minute, but first I'm going to give you this. Overstock shares jumped 22% on Morgan Stanley News. And so it begins. Now, you've all heard me talk about my friend Patrick Byrne, CEO of Overstock, and all that we went through back in the day in 2005 when he was being naked shorted because he took his company public via Dutch auction so the average man in the street could buy shares, not just, the uber wealthy. And they punished him for that decision. Legacy Bank, Morgan Stanley, which celebrated its 82nd year of business this fall, purchased 11.4% of Overstock.com, which trades on the NASDAQ, symbol OSTK, an online retailer. Back in 2014, Overstock became the first major retailer to accept Bitcoin. A year later, they gave their employees the opportunity to be paid in Bitcoin. Now, in accordance with SEC regulations, Morgan Stanley filed a 13G, which is an 8-page document detailing the purchase. Of interest in the filing were the facts Morgan Stanley made the purchase November 30th, and that it owned close to 3 million shares, which is a little more than 11% of the company. Shares of Overstock have grown roughly 200% this year alone, and mostly on the company's embracing Bitcoin and blockchain technology applications. News released of Morgan Stanley's purchase caused yet another rise in Overstock's price, up some 20% in one trading day. It has been a good quarter for the online retailer. Back in October, they reported an 11% jump in price, and in November its stock price did 3 times that in a single day after analysts praised its embrace of Bitcoin and blockchain. Certainly news of Bitcoin being courted by mainstream futures and derivative markets, CBOE and CME, both this month, haven't hurt Overstock's pivot away from e-commerce and more towards technology. Now, I gave you guys the information a couple weeks ago. Patrick is opening his own cryptocurrency trading exchange. T0, I think it's called. It's also set to launch its own initial coin offering in roughly a week as a distributed ledger platform for capital markets. As a retailer, Overstock's performance, ironically, has left a lot to be desired. According to Motley Fool, the company posted a net loss of $11 million over the trailing 12-month period and has lost money on an operating basis in 4 of the past 10 years. Its operating margins hover around 1% in its best years. Just keep in mind, it took Amazon 20 years to turn a profit. It appears investors see it less as an online storefront and more as a potential cryptocurrency blockchain company of some kind. Yeah, plus you can get a nice comforter. Also, Overstock is known to hold back its Bitcoin in order to invest in cryptocurrency-related projects, though it hasn't said exactly how much it has on hand. Now, let me tell you, Patrick, when he started Overstock, was an extremely wealthy man, and I believe his intelligence is on par with Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. And Overstock, had it not been naked shorted to death, I mean, we used to see the entire float turn over in one day. That doesn't happen with legitimate trading. But that was many years ago, back in 2005. So I've got to call him today and give him a hearty congratulations and ask him to come on the show. When I come back, after Michael gives us a recap of the live training room, we're going to talk about Bank of America, their patents for a cryptocurrency exchange have been approved by the U.S. Patent Office. My, that sure happened quick. Some people wait years. But yet, when they catch you buying Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies out of your Bank of America account, they might shut you down, as they have done many others. I happen to be such an individual. Haven't been shut down yet. Oh God, knock on wood. But I did use my Bank of America account to buy some cryptocurrencies. So I guess I'm just waiting for the email or whatever. I'll leave you hanging with that from now. Michael, if you want to take it away. I got so many different directions I could go here that I would probably... Well, you know what? Right before you take it, you already took it.
I think I did, yeah.
Jackleg. All right, it's okay. I was just going to show the Bitcoin chart. It's no big deal.
Okay, it's down a little bit right now.
Oh, well, actually, what you could do is, if you had a browser window handy,
I do.
You could go to cryptodailyinfo.com.
I have that open.
And at the top there, click Trading View Charts.
All right, here?
Yep. And it's supposed to default to BTC. But I don't think yours will. Yeah, it did. Okay, we got it fixed. Now, if you click, go over, you're on one day, take your cursor right up at the top of that chart, and go over to the little candlesticks. Go to the right.
Go to the right.
Find the little candlesticks. No. You flew right past them.
Oh, these little candles.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Click. Bingo. So, you see what I say, how yesterday we had the highest close ever on that green candle?
Yes.
You know, we've had higher intraday trading, but yesterday was the highest close. So we're down a little bit today.
Just a little bit.
But there's a fella I know that I respect quite a bit. He calls that a J-hook, that pattern you're staring at.
Mm-hmm.
That would be Stephen, what's the candlestick guy's name? Stephen...
Oh, gosh, I can't remember.
Anyway, he calls that a J-hook. And that's a powerful, long setup. Anyway.
Looks like there was one down here.
Steve Bigelow. There you go.
There's Steve Bigelow, that's right.
He's a friend of the show, one of our first guests way back in 2005.
There. Well, that's good.
But if you get on his mailing list, look out. Oh, speaking of mail, any of you who use Gmail, even if you use it as a business, if you just use Gmail as a backbone for your corporate email, you should sometime go find a little tab on the left that says all mail. Have you ever done that, Michael?
I have.
Oh my God. I thought I got a lot of mail until I clicked all mail. And
yes. And then you see it all.
I could not even get through. I could not get through even yesterday's mail. So to all of you out there who may have written me over the years and never got a response, it's because it went to the all mail thing, and I don't even know what to do at this point. So anyway,
all mail includes the spam and everything else.
No, I had clients, just regular people emailing me, and it didn't show up in my inbox, but it showed up in all mail.
So if I click on all mail right now,
I can only imagine how many people out there are like, man, I keep writing that dude and he won't write me back.
Oh.
All right. Well,
I'm just looking at the top 10 emails that I got, and I haven't opened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
see, there was like 5 on the first page that I needed to take immediate action on, and they were not in my inbox. I know. I know. So I may have to call Sergi and get it straightened out. All right, buddy.
It's Wednesday. Okay.
I'll hit mute and tear it up.
Okay. Thank you. Let me bring this over. Okay. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 13th day of December, 2017. Gold is given a long trade right here, if we get it up close. Sorry. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the homepage here at CFRN.net. Right at the top, it says sign up for the CFRN Live Training Room, 100% free trial. User indicators, learn our strategy. Click here. When you click there, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on that confirmation link. No, I'm sorry. When you click there, you will be sent to this page right here, where you have to put in your email, your first name, and how you found us. Then hit the submit button. Then you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on that confirmation link, okay? Because we don't know you took the trial until you click on that confirmation link. Now, recap. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you're going to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 13th day of December, as I said. Today we had 6 ticks in the euro and 9 ticks in gold. That's 127.50. 127.50. Today it took 93 minutes and 5 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point we're up 102.50, and we had a total of 6 trading opportunities this morning. On the month now we're at 1283.75. That's over 9 days, averaging 142 per day. And on the year we are at 32,152. That's over 233 days, averaging 137 per day. 137.99, just about 138 per day. Okay. Enough of that. Now, let's look here. Now, we have a bunch of stuff coming out this afternoon, and Trump is supposed to be speaking at some point today. So, if you have gotten your goal for the day and you have the opportunity to put your mouse away, you should. Okay, we have FOMC statement coming out, the Fed funds rate coming out, and we have a press conference. Okay, so the rate and statement are at 2, and the press conference is at 2:30. That's Eastern. Anyway, on gold here, we picked up a little bit right here, and then a little bit more right there, and then a little bit more right there to get us to +9 total. During the break, there was a shorting opportunity right here off the BBC. Put in a lower swing, and it looks like there was another one right here that probably would have stopped you out. Let me draw the trend line on that one. No, I guess there wasn't. Changed directions, came over here. Right now it just bounced off the BBC and gave you a long opportunity right there. And that was it on the gold. Okay. On the euro, I am missing something here on the euro. I don't know if I took this trade, if I just highlighted it, but there's 2 ticks missing on the euro. This was the second trade that we did, and we got 4 ticks profit on that one. And we had another one that we got 2 ticks on early on. During the break, there was a shorting opportunity off the BBC right here for a little bit of profit, and then it just changed directions. But we ended up with +6 on the euro. Was it this bounce off the BBC right here? It might have been. For 2 ticks. I'll highlight it like this. And during the break, there was just this one bounce off the BBC right here. It sort of coincided with that bounce off the BBC on gold, I think. Yeah, pretty close to the same time. This is a bounce off the BBC long type trade on gold right here. All right, on crude, we didn't do anything today, which is really odd that we don't do anything. And we had crude inventories come out today too. This morning started out with a momentum short trade right there that I missed. And the crude inventories came out. And, you know, I wanted to give it 5 minutes anyway. And so we had to wait until it got over here. And then we just weren't getting anything here in the crude. Okay. And here we got into the break. And let's see, during the break, there was still nothing. Nothing. Crude markets just didn't give anything up today. The Russell had, in the first 10 minutes of the market, look at this run right here on the Russell. Now, I was about 5 minutes late this morning, and I missed all that. All that. But there was a long trade from here, and here, and here, and there. And then the slingshot was all messed up, resetting the cycle. There was a short there and a short there, both of which I missed. And let's see, during the break, there was a short here, a short there, and a short there, and a short there. We changed directions here during the break, and there was a long trade from right here that I think might have stopped out. Let's just check. 30.8 down to 29.8. Yeah, this would have stopped you out right here during the break. Okay. Hey now, spreadsheet's not looking that bad. That was the Russell. Now on the ES, we had just pointed out this one trade right here. It was going up into the high of the day, and it did make it up to the high of the day. It made a good 2 points, and then it pulled back. It was hitting the high of the day right here for most of the morning session. Okay. And then it finally exceeded it right here at the end of the morning session. And then it pushed it up one more time right there. But we hadn't had anything else with the ES after that. Okay. All right. So the spreadsheet. Again, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. On the morning, see that gold just took off right there. On the morning, we made 6 ticks on the euro and 9 ticks on gold. 127.50 on the day. All right, it took 93 minutes and 5 trades to get to gold for the day this morning. At that point, we're at 102.50, and we took a total of 6 opportunities. So on the month now, 1283.75. That's over 9 days, averaging 142 per day. And on the year, 32,152. That's over 233 days, averaging 137 per day. 137 per day. Okay, again, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosure stuff down at the bottom. Let's see, sign up for the CFRN Live Training Room, 100% free trials, user indicators, learner strategy. Click here. Once you click there, you will be sent to this page. All right, this is to take the free trial. Then you'll be sent to this page. Here, put in your email, your first name, how you found us, hit the submit button. Once you hit the submit button, you'll be sent to confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click the confirmation link, you will not get a free trial because, well, we don't know you took the free trial until you hit that confirmation link. Okay? Okay. All right. So with that, I believe that I will pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. Studio A overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready. That gold worked out okay. 48.5 up to 49.4, so we gave 9 ticks from point of entry. Okay. And
Sweet.
Yes, and I can see your charts.
You can. Okay.
I can.
Give me the recap of the recap.
Today it took 93 minutes and 5 trades to get to 102.50
Per contract.
per contract. That is correct. 102.50 per contract.
Tell them,
Now,
tell them why we trade one contract in the live training room.
Because in the past I used to trade, I trade 8, 10 contracts, and
Brand new people.
brand new people would try to follow me, and they'd put on 8 or 10 contracts, and they'd build their account up on their first trade or second trade or third trade.
And they would end up wearing a new kind of hat. I can't say it on family radio.
Yes. Yes. And so we do one contract in the room. If you can do it with 1, you can do it with 2, you can do it with 3, you can do it with 4 or 5.
But
once you start getting up to 5
at a time. Build one at a time.
Absolutely. One of the things that I was just looking at in the spreadsheet that I just showed you, if you added 1 contract per month this year, right now you'd be trading 12 contracts. And on the year, if you did everything exactly the same way that I did, which is, next to impossible to do everything exactly the same way that I did, you'd be up $185,000 right now trading 12 contracts. And that's if you did everything exactly the way that I did.
And don't forget, there was an if and an impossible in that statement. So, but
yes.
Embrace the possibility. Okay.
Yes.
Now,
there are guys that do better than I do.
So that was a great job. We got this most incredible email yesterday. I'm not going to read it. It would be so self-serving. About the weekly trading zones, and I don't know if you're tuned in, Jim, but we appreciate that very much. And some of our guys don't even come into the training room in the morning because they get the zones. Except for one time in 8 years, they get the zones on Monday morning, and they just navigate. And we can teach you how to do that. So anyway, what I wanted to say is this weekend, December 10th, Sunday, the Chicago Board of Options Exchange, as you all know because we told you that it would, began its first trading session. Since then, the introduction of Bitcoin-based derivatives held on a well-known mainstream exchange, the news has injected a surge of positivity into Bitcoin's spot markets. Moreover, the price of CBOE's futures products has been trading wildly, starting off at the $15,000 mark and has reached an all-time high of $18,650. CBOE's Bitcoin-based futures 1-month contract, XBT1, started trading this past Sunday and is currently up over 8%, higher than Bitcoin's spot price. BTC spot markets have been on a tear leading up to the mainstream derivatives products, with a global average hovering between 16,900 and 17,200. CBOE's future products are a different animal, and contracts are cash settled based on the BTC price data provided by Gemini in US dollars. Okay? Now, on the 18th, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange will roll out their contract. And once that happens, we believe ETFs are right around the corner. CBOE futures can only be purchased from a certified brokerage service, and not all financial management brokers offer Bitcoin-based derivative products. Now, where we hang our hat over Daniel's Trading, they have the quotes going, they're testing it, the charts will be ready, and you will be able to see sometime in the next few days the live charts and everything on your DT Pro platform. Just not yet. A couple more days. They really want to get it right before they release it to the public at large. Now, the first day of trading at the CBOE on the Bitcoin futures contract saw 3,956 contracts, but dropped to 237 the next morning. Volume has increased on December 12th with over 500 contracts and more being added as the day progresses. I guess this article was written yesterday. Many speculators believe the recent cryptocurrency warning tied to the ICO market from the SEC agency shook CBOE futures investors on Monday. Moreover, global markets are on the rise in general, with Europe and Wall Street showing bullish gains. Futures tethered to the Dow Jones Industrial Average, S&P 500, Europe 600, and barrels of oil have seen significant spikes, so traders may have temporarily moved to other markets. Now, another little gem I wanted to show you, or tell you. Where'd I go? You blink? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Bitcoin just can't stop breaking things. When Bitcoin futures trading went live on Sunday night, there were sniggers from the cryptocurrency community after the CBOE website was instantly knocked offline. Welcome to Bitcoin, went the refrain. Disruption of service is all part of daily life at several of the web's largest Bitcoin exchanges. In the last 24 hours, Coinbase and Bitfinex have both reported problems. Transaction fees have reached record highs, and the ledger has also been overwhelmed. Bitcoin just can't stop breaking things. Amidst breaking new price records, Bitcoin has been busy wreaking a trail of destruction across the internet. Nary a week passes without the runaway currency overwhelming servers, downing exchanges, and piling up transactions in the mempool. It's not so much the transaction volume which has been causing issues this week as the average fee, which is now as high as $24 with a medium of 15, this hasn't dampened enthusiasm for the crypto gold rush. It took the cryptocurrency market 24 days to grow from 200 billion to 300 billion. And then another 10 days, it took it to 400 billion. Today, the figure is 500 billion. That's $500 billion. And it took just 5 days to get there. Bitcoin's rising dollar value, coupled with a huge upswell in Litecoin and Ethereum, has helped push the markets over that threshold. Don't forget, the CT Global coin is built on the Ethereum blockchain, not Bitcoin. The latest milestone hasn't come without considerable pain, however. Bitfinex was down for a couple hours on Tuesday to a reported denial of service attack. However, they're protected by Cloudflare. I know that. It's not in the article. Coinbase, meanwhile, was forced to halt Ethereum and Litecoin trading for a spell on Tuesday, citing a major outage. Not to be outdone, hardware wallet manufacturer Ledger also complained of strain. They sent out this tweet: "We are experiencing massive spikes of traffic and usage. Our engineers are scaling the infrastructure. All our services will experience strong disruption until about 10 p.m. Central." The perfect storm. Infrastructure problems haven't slowed Bitcoin's ascent. The virtual currency has been a raging bull for weeks, and there are no signs of it pausing for breath. But it's had to content itself with sharing the headlines with Litecoin this week, whose remarkable ascent has been attributed to the perfect storm of circumstance. Okay, yesterday's news. Fred pointed this out to me this morning, and let's take a look at what Ethereum's been up to for the last couple of days. Again, we are built on the Ethereum blockchain. Now, today's a bit of an odd day, and that daily candle, that doji, a little worrisome, but but I'm not going to worry. Look at the run-up we've had in 2 days. We've gone from 450 to basically $700 in 2 days. We hit, gosh, almost 800. And then we also almost hit 600. It's a $200 daily range, and we got a doji right there. So that's the deal. That is the deal. Now, see, I emailed Wayne because some of you have been saying, "Where's Wayne?" And I said, "You okay?" And he said, "I can't get logged on, but I'm going to try again today." So hopefully he'll make it. But I see John is already logged in. So let me see if he's at his microphone. Hi, John. Are you there? Okay. Let me rattle his phone. It'll take 1 second. Okay, I'm ringing his phone, so that should bring him to his microphone, unless he's on the phone. Okay. All right, chat box. Let's see what kind of... Are there any unanswered questions in the chat box? Now Michael's on the phone. Okay.
Hello.
Hey, John.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Well, it's turning out to be a pretty interesting day today, very much along the lines of what we talked about yesterday. So we told people in advance.
Did you catch what I just said about Overstock and Patrick Byrne?
No, I didn't. No,
Morgan Stanley just bought 11% of the company.
Wow.
Yeah, the stock ran up 22%, I think, yesterday.
Mm-hmm. No, it had a big day.
Yeah.
I've been watching it. Actually, we've been long that stock on our alert service.
He's days away from opening his own cryptocurrency exchange called T0.
Interesting.
People are starting to view them more as a crypto tech play than an online retailer. But you can still get a nice comfort there.
And it's kind of a mini Amazon too. You know, it's got that kind of a appeal as well. You know.
Well, the reason they did not do as well as Amazon is because he spent more than 5 years fighting off the naked short selling. Because the big boys got upset because he went public via Dutch auction, which meant everybody had a chance to get a piece of the pie. And that ticked off some of the big guys. And, well, hey, you know, so they put... We used to see days when the entire float in the company, Overstock, would turn over in a day. And that doesn't happen with legitimate trading. So, anyway, but I've already covered all that, so Wayne's going to try to get in here today, but what would you like to talk about?
Well, we pulled off a little bit of a coup today. Remember that GBTC I told you about yesterday?
Yes.
We sold it shorted at 2,500 this morning. And we just covered it, believe it or not, at 2150.
Nice.
And it's at 2250 now. Yeah. Thanks. So the Bitcoin ain't dead yet, but this is a indication that it might be getting, when the stocks start going down, as you know, this thing's dropped $400 since we shorted it, something like that. So it's a pretty big deal. That might be our biggest short ever. And by the way, I think this stock yesterday, when it went up $422, may have been an all-time record up day for any stock. I don't think I've ever seen a stock go up $400 in a day before. So what's going on right now is what we said yesterday, if you remember. We basically said we liked the way the gold was acting, and in the afternoon we went long the JNUG and the Nugget, just quite close to the lows, and all the golds, the Newmont and Royal Gold and gold. And they opened, didn't necessarily open hard today, they just went out the starting blocks and have been going up very strongly. And however, wouldn't rule out the volatility. Look, if we just keep going, and we could on the Fed news, that would be the best of all worlds. I wouldn't rule out though some sort of a spike or retest, and in order to remember the last time we gained from the dust very dramatically, we gained $2 or $3 on the dust, and the J dust about $5 or $6 when the dust spiked on the Fed news. That could happen today, so move the buy stop down. Look, keep in mind it's volatile, so you have to you grit your teeth a bit, because when you're sort of betting on the Fed, the market can be very volatile. But I think there's probably going to be a reaction upward in the dust, and maybe a brief one. So if you're quick, you might be able to scalp some upside there. But remember, the trend now appears to have changed. And we also talked, I think we mentioned yesterday, that if the dust starts going down, and remember, it's gone down from our target at 32, it's under 30 right now, that it could, if we really get a big update today and the gold goes up $30 or $40 before the day's out, you will see the dust absolutely get annihilated, and it could go down to 25, could go all the way back to where we called a buy from. So right now it's on the low of the day, so you've got to be very, very careful with this thing, because once the dust changes direction, it becomes quite risky to buy. So I'm not particularly recommending honestly, this thing could just flash up $1 and then it could reverse just as quick. So it's we just have to see which way the wind blows. But there's always a chance that the gold could have one more spike, because she's going to be talking today, and she could say just something. And now the market, when the Alabama election swung, looked like it was a more win for most of the night, and then it kind of.
He says he's going to fight it. I don't know what he can do.
No, it doesn't look. I think it's kind of just should get on with it. But,
well, it's 1.5%. If it's 0.5%, that's an automatic recount.
Yeah. So the way it swung to him towards the end was pretty dramatic, and the market sold off pretty sharply, and we actually shorted the Nasdaq. And I honestly thought the market was going to tank last night. So it just, but I tell you what, I learned a few things from you, and I put some buy stops above the market, and actually we had a new hourly high buy on the market. So
nice.
Thanks. So we caught the reversal effectively, which was unexpected, and came in with the Dow up 50 initially, and kept it all. And we just shorted the Dow a short while ago, but it's very, very strong in spite of everything today. So now there are some bad things going on with the market. In particular, somebody once told me you got to be very careful when the semiconductors start underperforming the market, and that's exactly what's going on in that sector. So, as a matter of fact, we have a situation. Just a sec. I have to take a.
Go ahead. If I get this math wrong, somebody tell me. Now, I just put the concierge alerts from last night up so you guys could do a screenshot. But we said on the S&P to consider buying 2670 given the opportunity.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
We have a situation developing where, for the first time in quite a while, we have some glaring divergences developing in the indices. And I think this Fed thing, you got to be very careful. This is sort of like, the market's going up like it's never going to stop. Just the way it's been going up today and going up on this election news as if it never happened. It's almost like more one. But here's the thing. Looking at the NASDAQ, we have not made a new high on the NASDAQ futures. I don't think. Let me just check. Yeah, we're making a kind of a double top, right? And then if you look at the Dow, it's sort of made a, you know, we've got divergence between the mid cap and the NASDAQ and the Dow and the S&P, and the transports as well. So, and the stocks. So all of these are sort of flashing pretty big warning signs that we might, and what I'm thinking is if we get a pullback here, you know, it could come down and test that extreme Brian Ross sell-off that happened, and that would actually, you know, it would be a sort of a semi, you know, it would be a correction before the year's end, sort of a sideways market. I think it would actually help the market refresh for a big rally in the new year if that happens. So the, you know, a lot of stocks, I mean, if you look at all the FANGs, they're going nowhere today, in spite of the market going higher. So this is a big dress-up job. NVIDIA, which has been a, you know, serious market leader for most of the year, is absolutely looking terrible today, as a matter of fact, and kind of dangerous, to tell you the truth. You know, we could potentially have a three-wave pullback in this thing. From, you know, we got up to 218, sold it up around that level, all the way down to about 180 and then rallied up to 190, rolled over, and now it could potentially go down to about 165, where it's probably going to be a very good buy again. The rest of the market could follow. I think if NVIDIA gets hammered, it could drag the market down. You know, the NVIDIA and the FANGs and things. So I'd be looking for that possibly to happen, and it could get pretty violent. Could get pretty violent. You know, this afternoon, literally in an hour or so. So the volatility, the VIXs look like they're a buy here, but they're right. You know, they just made new lows, so it's a pretty tricky sort of situation. But I'm pretty sure they're going to get a bounce, especially if the volatility increases. You know, it is a volatility index. So,
do you think there is any chance of surprise?
The stage is set. You know, we're only up 13 on the NASDAQ after being up 30. We start going negative on the NASDAQ, that could be, you know, more trouble. And the mid S&P, after being up, what, 8 or 9 or something, is only up a few points now. So we're sort of rolling over. And, you know, if this, it just looks to me like the market could sell off on raising interest rates, because it is a form of tightening. It may be bullish for the market long term.
Sure, but
traders
throw a temper tantrum.
Fire that, you know, ignite right away. You know, it might be a delayed reaction, and it could be anywhere from a matter of hours to days, or even a week or two. if this, you know, because the implications of a Fed raise are profound. You know, it's a fundamental thing that has a big impact on certain sectors. So they could drag stock. You know, I mean, we could have a multi-100-point down day today on the Dow, or up for that matter. It could go up and could go down.
Let me ask
certainly looks like we could have a couple of 100-point swing today.
Let me ask you a question, John.
And you know, if we go negative on the indices after this, you know, after the announcement, that could be profound. That could start scaring a few people. And there's a lot of fund managers out there who just automatically start selling when interest rates are rising. I don't think they should be doing that until
can you hear me?
4 or 5%
John,
higher.
John,
but
can you hear me?
Nonetheless, there's look, you hear it every day on CNBC. Oh, if interest rates rise, it's going to rock the stock market. Whereas in reality, it's very, very bullish for the market. And the one thing about this market that is really encouraging is that we're sort of we're literally in 2004 or 2005, and we got potentially a couple of years to run upwards before we get to anything that looks like 2007. Based on the interest rates.
John,
and remember, the Fed raised
rates
about 18 times. They probably overdid it and caused this huge financial crisis. But if inflation comes roaring back, which it could in the next couple of years, I don't think the inflation's really going to hit big time until probably after 2020. But it could come early, and it could. Could start causing problems for the market. Initially, inflation in the marketplace is good for a couple of years. So that's why I'm pretty bullish going into all the way to 2020, because this guy Steny Hoyer, he's one of these senators, he's a congressman actually, and he was on this morning and saying, this is a terrible tax deal. I mean, how can you say something like that when the market's up 100 points, making all-time record highs for about the 85th time this year? It's just so ignorant. How can it be a terrible tax deal if Wall Street is just gone up 8,000 points? Since it's crazy. It's crazy. These guys are just absolutely got their heads in the sand. Don't you think?
John, you can't hear me for some reason. And I don't think anyone in the audience can hear me, because nobody's responding. So I'm going to call you back.
Hello. Sorry. Wait, I was just, I guess you didn't hear anything. Did you hear anything I said?
Well, no. Well, I heard everything you said, but I've kept saying, hey, John, let me ask you a question, and you couldn't hear me.
Oh, okay.
But the audience can hear me.
Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
All
so
right.
you heard what I just said.
Oh, I heard. Yeah, I heard everything. Absolutely. Yeah. And
I was just saying about the head. Don't you think that the people who are saying this terrible tax deal?
I saw it just this morning. The guy goes, "This is the most horrible tax deal there's ever been." What? That's just stupid. I mean, anyway. What I wanted to ask you. Do you think, now we've been promised for months that the final Fed meeting of the year, we would get a increase, right? So if there's ever been anything baked into the cake, it's got to be this. Do you see any possibility of any kind of a surprise on the announcement today?
Yeah, I mean, based on the way, it's almost like somebody got the nod yesterday that there's not going to be a rate hike,
Really?
Well, I mean, just given the way the market's acting.
Well, this morning in the trading room, I said, guys, imagine what would happen if we got no increase, or if we got a 0.5 point instead of a 1/4 point. And I mean, I don't. You got 3 options. There's no raise. I mean, there's a raise, which is what we've been promised. No raise, as you suggested, or they flip the other way. And pop it. I mean, gosh, how long has it been since interest rates were raised 0.5%? A decade? Has it been that? It's been that long, right? Okay. So, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying, embrace the possibility.
Sure. So the rest of the energy is still going down. The crude is holding up better than the products. The products look like they're having a pretty big pullback. Pullback here. The natural gas looks like it's actually may have bottomed, and it's up a little bit yesterday. We put a buy out yesterday on the natural gas. It's going okay so far. The nugget is making new highs. Wow, just went past 26. We put a buyout on this yesterday afternoon, so this has worked out very well so far. And look at this dust. I mean, it's down to 29.5, 29.40 now. So it's actually interesting that the gold is not responding just yet, but it could. The silver is, by the way, nicely, and it's leading the gold higher. But what it tells you is there could be an explosive up move in the gold this afternoon at some point. And because usually on an ordinary day, if we had this kind of a move in the nugget, we'd be up more on gold. We'd be up $10, $15 by now, I think. So there's sort of a delayed reaction. Also, interestingly, I'm just noticing that platinum is putting in quite what appears to be a tradable bottom here around the 875 level, and that would be a pretty good, place for the platinum to actually bottom. And if platinum really starts recovering quicker than gold, I would consider that to be very positive. So definitely the gold sector coming to life here. And it could be we could be witnessing the beginning of a very big uptrend today. The fact that the gold stocks are going up so much is very encouraging. It sort of doesn't rule out a complete reversal. We've seen these kind of things happen before, but the fact that there's this much force behind the metals today kind of suggests that we might be in for some upside surprises on the gold, and potentially downside surprises in the market. While we've been talking, the advanced decline line's been falling quite rapidly from the highs. So what that means is that there's a preponderance of selling coming into the market as the day has been going on, and it hasn't really been reflected in the indices yet. But if we get another leg down here, that could, start turning these indices negative. Then, this is sort of what could be a classic reversal day, and we really haven't had one of these days for a long, long time. Where if we go from 140 points up on the Dow today to negative, that will be the first time that's happened, at least since the Brian Ross thing. And actually, beyond that, it's the first time it's happened in eons, in a very, very long time. So it could have, if we do end up going negative, and we close negative today for these indices, it could mean the beginning of, maybe a longer than expected correction of certainly days, maybe just hours. You can never tell, but anywhere from hours to days, and possibly even going into the end of the year. Normally the time around Christmas is pretty bullish for the market, but it's not always. There have been some years where the market has
Santa Claus did not rally.
Exactly. So I also think that when the CME futures come on Sunday. Is it Sunday night or Monday they're coming on?
They came on Sunday night. And
yeah, so
on the CBOE, it would be the 18th for the CME. But as soon as the CBOE opened and trading started, the exchange crashed.
Yeah, I think the CME could be the opposite. If we start to see selling, if CME sells off, that would be
on the CBOE. The futures are trading 8% above the spot price.
That's kind of bullish when you see that. But I mean, the CME could come in.
The volume was so heavy, that's why they crashed.
Yeah, but the CME could come in and just fix that. They could. It would be. Look, it's very rare for the market to act the same way twice. So the possibility of the opposite response next Sunday cannot be ruled out.
What's interesting about the CBOE, Bitcoin futures contract is that it's a 1-month contract.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Now,
like kind of like the energy.
Yeah.
The energy.
Did you get the Bank of America news on their cryptocurrency patent?
No.
December 5th, U.S. Patent and Trademark Office granted the financial institution Bank of America a patent to build a cryptocurrency exchange. The patent's summary describes 3 types of accounts within the platform system. The first account is for customers to store their digital funds. The second and third accounts operated by the business are called float accounts, which allow quick digital asset swaps from behind the scenes, similar to a centralized shapeshift concept. Bank of America is one of the most active banks filing for blockchain and cryptocurrency related patents over the past few years. Now let me scroll down on the bottom of the article. In addition to BOA trying to capture a lot of blockchain and cryptocurrency patents, the company is not too friendly towards Bitcoin traders. The financial institution has been well known for closing people's bank accounts if they trade Bitcoin. There are many instances where Bank of America closed a customer's account for purchasing cryptocurrencies using applications like Coinbase. And I used Bank of America to purchase Bitcoin through Coinbase. So I'm just waiting for the next shoe to drop. Ironically, the latest patent approval for Bank of America and their controlled cryptocurrency exchange shows the bank favors digital assets, and the institution could very well build a platform in the near future. But yet they're shutting down their customers. You know, it's like you'll buy Bitcoin from us or you won't buy it at all. Unbelievable.
So the rest of the markets are the grains. Actually, the wheat jumped a little bit this morning, which could be indicating a turn is coming in the grains.
I'm so sick of soybeans. I can't even.
Yeah, but it's still, you know, you got to be paying attention to them because if it does turn here, it could turn into a big rally. The cocoa has rebounded all the way back to 1900. Put a buyout on it yesterday. Somewhere near the lows, and the coffee actually is we're actually long the coffee right now, but I'd definitely sell this coffee if it probably broke the 120 or 119.80 or somewhere like that. I think I'd sell it. So listen, I better run, but thanks very much for the invite.
You're very welcome, John. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, bye.
All right, bye bye. See if Wayne made it in. No. Not yet, but he typically tries by now. I don't know. Maybe I can get him to call. I'll figure something out. He wanted to come on today, but I don't see him. Okay. All right, let's run through these markets. I'll show you the Concierge Trade Alerts from last night just one more time, in case you didn't get the screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. On the S&P, said to consider buying 2670. Ran up 5.5 S&P points. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested, and this is what we see here. Now, we would typically expect this to, turn and head north again to challenge this high or potentially put in a new high. But we have the Fed announcement, and so that's going to throw everything out of whack for 30 minutes to an hour. So be very careful putting on trades as we approach that announcement. Again, a 0.25% rate hike has been baked into the cake for months. If there's a surprise, the markets, either way, they could go wild. And I have no reason to believe there will be a surprise, but I always encourage everyone to embrace all possibilities. On the NASDAQ last night, we said to consider buying 64.10. Ran up 27 points at $20 per point per contract available. Now, we never get out at the swing high or swing low. Why? Because we trail our stop. And hang on. There, I just want to kill John's mic for him. When you trail your stop, the market's going to come back and take you out. That means you're always going to leave a little something on the table. Don't fret. Just be thankful for what you got. Now, important prices, important areas, almost always tested. See? There it is again. On the Russell. I don't know what happened to the Russell today. This thing went crazy. Consider buying 1522. This was a 10-point run-up. Now, if you were trailing really, really close, this might have took you out. But if you weren't trailing that close, it ended up running up 29 points at $50 a point. That's almost $1,500 per contract. And if you're not trading the alerts, why? Are you punishing yourself? On the Dow, we said to consider buying 24,560. It ran up 100 points. Now the Dow only pays $5 a point, so it's 500. But again, you don't get out with all of it. As it pulls back, it takes you out. Okay. Bonds, not such a bright story. 153.02 was the buy trigger here, which got you stopped out pretty nice. And here you had the opportunity to pick up 12 ticks at 31.25 per tick. That's not bad. And the sell trigger was 152.20. 152.20. That's going to be about right there. And on the first move, we got, because important prices, important areas, you know, almost always tested. See it there? See it there? Okay. So on the first drop, we got down to, wait a minute. Hold steady. So 152.20. Right. It got down to 152.12. So that's 8 ticks at 31.25 per tick. Gets back above the trigger. Down we go again. We get down to 152.09. That is 11 ticks at 31.25 per tick. Okay. I don't recommend you trade bonds unless you have some special ability, some special know-how. You've been trained. You were born with it. I don't know. It's not that it's a bad market, and it's not that there isn't plenty of money to be made in bonds, but there are instruments that are not as complicated as bonds. Plus, if you're on the wrong side of the trade, that 31.25 per tick adds up real quick. Crude oil last night, we said to consider selling 57.15. We got down to almost 56.60, basically $550 per contract available. Now, all the zones you're seeing are last week's zones. I typically don't change the zones until Thursday for the general community. With the exception of once in 8 years, the partners always get the zones Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So they get their chart set up before Wall Street ever opens. So you're still seeing last week's zones. This happens to be last week and this week. Okay, sometimes a zone will carry over to the next week. However, this is our long trigger and our short trigger, which probably will, one of them is going to get triggered, probably the long side will get triggered after the Fed meeting if they raise the quarter point. That's just basic market stuff. Okay? All right. So that covers the trade alerts pretty quickly there. Everything profitable except soybeans just because they don't move anymore. I don't know what's happened to the beans. I love them beans. Okay, give you one more glance. Tomorrow I'll adjust all the zones so that you can see tomorrow what our partners saw Tuesday morning, because I couldn't connect to the server and get them out Monday morning. No, I got them out Monday night. That's what it was. So, okay and okay. All right. Our good word for the day. We started on a topic yesterday about doing what God has told you to do. We talked about Noah out in the desert building an ark. What an odd thing for a man to do, since it had never rained and there was no ocean in sight. But he built it, and the measurements he built it with that God gave him are the same measurements today that are used to build the most seaworthy vessels. And if that doesn't impress you just a little bit, I don't know. Hebrews 11:7, by faith Noah built an ark. Now this mini-series is called Do What God Has Told You. Noah built the ark because God commanded it. It's what he was called to do in life. Sawing planks and hammering nails for him was an act of obedience. And when everything was said and done, it was the longest act of obedience recorded in Scripture. Remember yesterday we talked about how he planted the trees, waited for the trees to grow, and cut them down, then made the planks, then built the boat, which was the length of 1.5 football fields. They didn't have any football fields back then, but that's how long it was. From start to finish, Noah's one act of obedience took tens of thousands of days, and with each daily act of obedience, he glorified God. No matter what tool you use in your trade, a hammer, a keyboard, a mop, a football, a spreadsheet, a microphone, an espresso machine, use it as an act of obedience. It's the mechanism whereby you worship God. It's the way you do what you're supposed to do. The Bible says, whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. Colossians 3:17. Stop putting yourself down and thinking what you do is not important. If God created you, he's got an important task for you. And if you have not found it yet, then get in a closet and ask him, and then listen. Remember the old proverb, for want of a nail? It goes like this. For want of a nail, the shoe is lost. For want of a shoe, the horse was lost. For want of a horse, the rider was lost. For want of a rider, the message was lost. For want of a message, the battle was lost. For want of a battle, the kingdom was lost. And all for the want of a horseshoe nail. In God's eyes, small acts of obedience are big things. When you joyfully do little things, like they are big things, then God will do big things like they are little things in your life. That's how the kingdom advances. So the good word for you today is simply do what God has told you. Now, as I said, some of you maybe haven't connected with what God created you for. But some of you have, and you've been sitting on it for 10 years because, quite frankly, you really don't want to do that. You had your eyes on Hollywood or something. I don't know. You might as well just cave now and do what he's commanded you to do, or what he has shown you that he created you for. You will never be happier. You will never have more peace, confidence, hope, faith, grace for mankind than when you are slap dab in the middle of God's will for your life. I know because I've been there. And I stepped out of the light into the dark. There was wailing and gnashing of teeth, and I scooted back into the light. And by His grace, He let me back in. So, that is our good word for the day, and it's an important one. Stu asks from the audience, do you trade through the news, Crude today's inventory report, and indices, bond, and gold through FOMC? Stu, our standard policy that we teach to all partners, anytime there is economic news, whether it's kind of the minor stuff that comes out every day at 10 a.m. Eastern, or something really huge like the FOMC coming out at 2 Eastern today, stand down. Your basic economic reports that come out at 10 a.m. daily, usually you need to stand down 10-15 minutes. With crude inventories, maybe 30 minutes. With Fed announcements, it used to be an hour, but of late, there just hasn't been a lot of activity at the Fed announcement because there's been no surprises. And so we still recommend that you stand down until the market returns to its normal rhythm. How do you know it's returned to its normal rhythm? You apply the CFRN indicators, whose job is to go into any futures market and find and identify for you the underlying rhythm of that market. It takes a jumble of candles on a chart, and when you apply those indicators, it's all clear as day. Well, I mean it is. Here's a gold chart, and it's 30 minutes. Okay. I think I got my indicators turned on. Yeah, I just grab a chart at random because it doesn't matter if it's a futures market, it's a futures market. That's why we're not all worried about, oh God, how are we going to trade these Bitcoin futures? Same way we trade everything else. Okay. I don't know why my indicators didn't show up. Oh, there they are. Okay. Bearish cross means lower prices. Bullish cross, higher prices. You don't ever have to be on the wrong side of the trade again. I mean, every now and then you'll get a cross, then it'll cross right back. But guess what? It doesn't give you a trade setup. So, no harm, no foul. I don't mean you're going to be, 100% grand slam artist if you apply our indicators. But you can be on the right side of the trade. I mean, come on. Bearish cross. What does that mean? Lower prices. Bullish cross, higher prices. Bearish cross, lower prices. I mean, kind of like coloring by the numbers. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying trading's easy with CFRN, but it can be simple. But in order for it to be simple, you have to forget a lot of the stuff you already learned. Whether it's valid or not valid, it just doesn't mesh with our methodology. And then once you learn the process, you have to trust the process. And the only way you'll ever learn to fully trust the process is by becoming a partner, learning to read the charts and the indicators the way that we do, and trading in sim until you put together 10 consecutive days in a row where you make $100 per contract in 10 trades or less. Once you do that, look out, world. There's a new trader on the street. Mike said, good word. What if the gold hits 52 before the Fed news? Well, you know what? As much as I'd like to say, buy it, I can't, because we teach to stand down. So it might be that the Fed announcement comes and this thing rips through 52 and goes wherever. And you just have to look at that and go, okay. We used to trade the Fed announcement, Mike and I. And sometimes we do well, and sometimes we get skinned. And we realized that the reason that was happening is because we weren't taking high probability trade setups. We were gambling, right? And when you gamble, you get gambling-like results. Now, is there a zone above 49.50? Yes, sir. Above 49.50, I'm just going to give it to you guys. 1256/57, then 1261/62, and then 1269/1270. That's the highest weekly zone for gold. If by chance it runs in the other direction, below you you'll find support at 43.44. Right? Okay. And below that 38.39, and below that 25.26. That help you out, Mike? Did you get them all? Do you need me to repeat them? Because I will. Does anybody have any questions on the higher ones? Okay, Mike. Okay, got your pen? All right, see 49.50. After that, 56/57. After that, 61/62. And after that, 69/70. That's the highest. Okay? Anybody else got any questions? Okay. Now, let me show you something else while I got this gold chart up. Okay? This is a 30-minute chart. Most of you know that in the live training room, we use a range chart. What if I switched this to, oh, I don't know, a daily chart? Would it still give me the same guidance and direction? Oh, well, that's not pretty. Okay, let's undo that, because that's a mess. I will use this, and I'll put in on daily. I'll clear out all the stuff. I'll insert the indicators. Boom. Bullish cross. Price pulls away, price pulls back, up close by the open of the next candle plus 1 tick. Now that took you from $52 in crude to $58 in crude. That's a $6,000 per contract move. And because price stayed above the CFMA1, you rode that thing to right there. If you choose to trade a daily chart. Now, trading, see, in the live training room, we use the range chart because we only have to risk 8 ticks on a trade. If you're going to move in a more discretionary type of trading, okay, if, see, bullish cross, pull away, pull back, up close, you buy the open of this candle, plus 1 tick. Your stop goes right there. Okay. Now you have to have the account size. You got to be able to handle overnight margins, because how many days? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it took 13 days to move up $6,000 per contract. Imagine if you had 10 contracts on it, and that's all you were risking. You'd have a big old smile on your face, huh? Okay. All right, well, Dwayne, it works with a daily chart, but you probably rigged that. Okay. Why don't we do something really wacky? Let's go. We used to do this all the time, but then we figured you guys got tired of it or something. I don't know. Let's go with 1,000 contracts. Now what this is going to do is, instead of creating a candle every day, every time 1,000 contracts are traded, you're going to get a new candle. Watch. Bullish cross. To the moon, Alice. Bearish cross. Now you got a deep pullback, but what happened? Lower prices. Bearish cross. What happened? Lower prices. What if we put it on 5,000? Well, that couldn't work too, could it? Oh my goodness. Bearish cross. Price pulls away. Price pulls back. Down close. And we dropped from 57.10 to 56.70. It's not $6 grand, but this all happened in a couple of hours. So I hope I've made my point that okay, let's not do that. Let's go back over here. So we've done it with volume, we've done it with days. We did it with 30 minutes. Oh, I don't know. Some people like 15-minute charts. Same thing. So come be a partner and we'll teach you how it all works. From the indicators to reading the chart like a newspaper to the weekly trading zones. It's all there for you. Okay? Now tomorrow night is our partners workshop. Thursday night, you got to be a partner. So if you've been on the trial and you're ready to become a partner, you should have gotten an email from Michael. But if you didn't, or you trashed it, or whatever, just get a hold of us. Support at cfrn.net or 949-423-6464. Okay? Now, those of you who own CT Global Coin, if you haven't received your cert yet, you should receive that in the email today. Now, because we're pioneering in a new field, we had a couple of snafus, and some people were inconvenienced on payments, right? And so they had to send their payment twice. The first payment got refunded, and they had to make the second payment. And okay, so if that wasn't you, no problem. If it was you, we apologize. But anywho, there'll be an email going out today to everyone. Because of the inconvenience, there's going to be a little something extra in your Christmas stocking. I'm not going to tell you how much, because we still have some math to do. Michael, are you in the background, or are you on the phone? Okay. Now, because of the snafu, and people had to send the payment again after we, refunded the first payment, we have had to keep pushing forward the partner presale. Depending upon what happens in the next 2 days, well, today, Thursday, and Friday, probably Monday, if all goes well, we will open the presale to the entire CFRN audience. The following Monday, we open to the general public. Okay? So, if you're a partner and you want to take advantage of the presale bonus, get a hold of us. Let us know your plans today, tomorrow, or Friday. Now, if we don't get your payment until next Monday, worst case scenario, that's fine. We'll have you locked in with that particular bonus. What I'm finding is that almost every bank has an application now. Remember, you used to have to go down to the bank to wire money somewhere, like to your broker in Chicago. Right? Most banks now on their online banking website have some kind of application where you can just transfer money from your account to somebody else's account. I use US Bank. I transferred some money last night, and it's a 24-hour turnaround, and the cost, $0. It didn't cost me a dime. And I know bank wire sometimes can cost 40, 50, 60 bucks. So if you are considering a purchase, go to your online banking and see what ways they, my online bank, US Bank, had it's like 3 different ways. But I just took the simplest and the freest and the quickest. I don't know why anybody else would choose anything else. All I had to do was type in the person's name, the routing number, the account number, the dollar amount, and hit submit. And the thing popped up. It says they'll have their money in 24 hours in their account. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty neat. So, there you go, guys. That's the latest update, the latest news. I got more to do than I can get done, but I'm going to give it the old college try. So, let me get after it. Thank you for tuning in today. If you have any questions, get a hold of us, okay? Michael's available, 949-423-6464. The cool kids say 949-42-EMINI. Right? Reach out. Now, you probably don't have young kids like I do. Most old people don't. But if you do, you need to know what the heck they're doing. What kind of music is... My wife asked my son last night, who do you consider to be a classic rocker? And the answer was Britney Spears. We were looking for like Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, you know, something like that. Alexa, play Young, Dumb, and Broke.
Young, Dumb, and Broke by Khalid.
Alexa, crank it up. Alexa, crank it up. This is the national anthem of today's high school kids. Alexa, please stop. Do not let your kids put that garbage in their head. God bless you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, Call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.